dude, this is what I do on weekends for fun and you're getting paid for it. Hell yes, this is what I want to do. Sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes you think, oh, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do something different. I'm going to jump over this wall and stuff, and it just doesn't work. And, you end up in the hospital or, get hurt. The stuntmen are usually already on cue because we know each other and we know what to do. And even if something changes, we know how to adjust. Just that's that brotherhood, sisterhood, whatever you want to call it. I've got 400 film and television credits in 37 years. Few people can say that they've done that. So if I can do it, anybody can do it. I love being a mentor. I love being a good role model because I think we're really lacking role models this day and age, especially for younger people that need a drive.
Welcome, Chuck. Great to have you.
Glad to be here.
Tell us a little bit about how you ended up in the Netherlands. Let's start with that, and then we go deeper into that rabbit hole.
Okay, well, how I ended up in the Netherlands, grew up in Los Angeles, in Hollywood area, and decided I'd had enough of Los Angeles, and this is around 2000, 2001 maybe, and decided I needed to move to Las Vegas, just be close enough for work, but away from the craziness of Los Angeles. And when I met to Las Vegas, I met my now wife, who spent almost her entire life traveling the world. We met up on the Strip and dated and lived there together for about a year, and went back to California for a short time, and then decided to start a family. And she wanted to come back to the Netherlands, which I was open to. And when I got here, I was like, wow, this place is amazing. And, I've never looked back. I moved here and still have my career in America, but, I live in the Netherlands now, out in Raalte, out in the countryside.
Nice. Since when are you living in Europe?
I officially came here around, I want to say 2011, but I started coming here. My daughters were born in 2005, and then we got married in 2006 here. But what I found out is because my wife had been traveling her whole life, that once I applied to stay here, they wouldn't grant that because the immigration laws said she couldn't support me because she traveled, so she didn't have a set job. So I literally came back and forth from America here to see my kids and see my family and stuff like that for 5 years before I found a loophole that would allow me to move here permanently. So now I'm a permanent resident. I have the option to get my Dutch citizenship, but that was never really a huge concern of mine. I just want to be able to be here and raise my family and live here.
Nice. So, professional career. You are a professional stuntman as one part of what you do. So I would love to dig further into that. How did you decide to be a stuntman? How did that happen?
Well, it was kind of a strange story. I was an athlete growing up. My whole life I've been into sports. I just love to compete. I love athletics. And I would literally jump from sport to sport. I was racing dirt bikes, BMX. I was racing go-karts. I was competing in baseball. I was actually an all-star pitcher for baseball. And I got to high school and still didn't have a focus on what I wanted to do. At that point, I was racing go-karts and I was working at a go-kart track out there in the Puente Hills Mall area. And the assistant manager was a very dear friend of mine. And we would take the cars out after we'd close up on Friday or Saturday night and just play around in the parking lot and stuff. And he said, oh my God, my best friend, Mike Drell, would love this. He's a stuntman. And I just clicked he's a what? And he's like, you got to meet him. It's like, I would love to. So it was on my bucket list. I had a list. I want to be an astronaut. I wanted to be a race car driver. Of course, sports, anything sport. And stuntman was on that list. So now I meet him and I get to talking to him and said, I got to ask you, what's it take to be a stuntman? And he said, well, why don't you come to the movie set with me and see what it's like and get a feel for it yourself. And I went to the set with him. My first movie set was a movie called Fast Times at Ridgemont High. It was a huge cult classic. And it was the football sequence that they did. And I was there all night helping them pull pads around and being a guest on the set. And it was hooked from day one. And so at the end of the night, we get ready to go for some breakfast and stuff. And Mike turns to me and says, well, what do you think? I'm like, dude, this is what I do on weekends for fun, and you're getting paid for it. Hell yes, this is what I want to do. And I was, from that point on, the seed was planted, and I wanted to be a stuntman. And he trained me for a very short time, and then he got divorced. He moved away. I lost track of him. But like I said, the seed was planted, and it was something I really wanted to do. So I just pursued it on my own. I was an extra, production assistant. Whatever it took to get on the movie set, I would do until I can get that opening to show that I could be a stuntman. And it took me about 3.5 years, and I finally got an opportunity, and I've never looked back.
Fascinating. So there's at least at that time you didn't go to the Stuntman University and did all the classes to get into. You just started doing it, if I understand you right.
Yeah, that's true. I did attend some stunt classes and stuff. There's really not a school to learn stunts. There's some people
Huh.
that will teach you here and there, but there's no like accredited school. You can't get a certificate that says I'm a stunt man. You got to know the right people, and that's really what it comes down to. It's all about networking. It's all about connections. And if you have the talent, great. If not, then see you later. But they've got to trust you. And now that I'm a stunt coordinator and I'm a second year director more so, I understand that more now because the safety on the movie set is my job as a stunt coordinator.
Yeah.
So anybody I bring in to work for me, I need to trust, not just for their safety, but for the crew's safety and for everybody's safety. So it's really hard to find that mix. You got to be able to trust this person, and he's going to make you look good, because if he does a bad job, I'm not going to get hired back again. So it's really a big trusting. It's funny because we always say it's a family. It really is a family, all about trusting each other and believing each other. So that's kind of where it comes down to.
Yeah. I was watching a couple of clips from you and as well pieces of movies where I've seen what you have been doing. It's crazy. Like I have seen things for those that like the normal stuntman stuff, obviously, but it's like with helicopters, like burning cars, yourself burning, obviously
Yep.
falling from stairs and flights of stairs, even like having like fights. And it's like, how did you get into learning not hurting yourself, or did you hurt yourself quite a lot? How is that working as a stuntman?
You do kind of hurt yourself from time to time, but it's funny because I always laugh at people. I tell people it's like there's an art to falling down, and people don't
Yeah.
believe that. There's definitely an art to falling down where you can do it. I can do a really big fall, and it's going to hurt a little bit, but it's not going to hurt as much as somebody that doesn't know what they're doing. They're going to break their back, or they're going to do something. So it's about training, and it's about learning from other stuntmen, the higher ups. And that's what I do now is higher ups will teach you, okay, you got to fall down these stairs. This is what you got to do. You got to keep your chin, and you got to watch your head so you don't smack on the stairs. You got to roll off this thing. And things come into play. It's just not normal. And, get hit by a car. It's you can't just do it, because you got to know what you're doing, and somebody will instruct you and somebody will walk you through it. And then once you've done it, it's like, okay, I can do this better. I can do this differently. There's no real method to it. You just kind of go. And sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes you think, oh, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do something different. I'm going to jump over this wall and stuff, and it just doesn't work. And, you end up in the hospital, or, get hurt. Or sometimes it's just minor, but, it happens. That's the nature of the beast. That's why we do it and not an actor, because there's skill and there's a chance you're going to get hurt.
Yeah. So can you share any stories where one part is like you made it through and you didn't hurt yourself too much, but the other side, I guess, happened as well, where you hurt yourself properly and were injured afterwards?
Yeah, I can give kind of two examples. The helicopter sequence you were talking about, that was a movie called Darkman. And I came in to, actually, first day I came in was just to do some driving stuff, because I'm more known for my driving. And I just happened to be exact right size for Liam Neeson. And so they needed somebody to double. His regular double got hurt, and they needed somebody to fill in. And I just happened to be in the right place at the right time and said, hey, would you go up and do this one little shot, quick shot, with no big deal. And I did it. And the next day I get a phone call. It's like, hey, can you get back on set? We need you. And it's like, okay, great. So we did this whole huge helicopter sequence. Now, this is one of those things you say, how do you train for this? How do you train to hang from a helicopter? You don't. It's just, you got to go. You just got to do it and hope for the best. And it went great. And we did it for like 4 weekends in a row, going through the buildings in downtown LA and swinging all over the place. Now, I'm locked in a harness, so I can't get released accidentally, or I can't drop off of it. But if something goes wrong with a helicopter, I'm going down with it. So there was a lot of that stuff that was really, you had to watch for. And of course, hanging from that helicopter, there's a big industrial hook on the bottom that I start with my foot in, and I'm supposed to be sliding down this thing. So eventually it's at my knees. And as I'm swinging through this thing, and we're doing about 3.5 Gs, this cable is whacking me on the legs. And at the end of the day, I would just have big slashes. It looked like I got whipped by a dungeon master, on the legs, and just went crazy. And I had bloody marks on my legs. That was just the thing. And that's a minor problem. And then I turned around and I did a car chase where I'm playing a policeman, and I'm chasing Richard Grieco on a motorcycle, and I'm in a cop car, and we're chasing him, and we get to the point where I have to crash the car, and it's going to be a big car flip that you see, like the A-Team and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
we prepped this, and I had done hundreds of these things by this time. And for whatever reason, it came down, it hit the ramp, and it came down wrong. It came down the back, it slapped it on the top, the roof, which is, I'm upside down at this point. And for however it happened, it popped my shoulder out of the harness, and my head came forward, and we had put a camera inside the car and built it into the roll cage, and it was in the crash housing. My helmet hit that thing and shattered my helmet. I don't remember any of the crash. I woke up 4 or 5 hours later in the hospital at USC Medical Center with my head all bandaged up and stuff, and everybody's telling me the story of what happened. It should have killed me. It should have split my head wide open, and I was really lucky that it didn't. But again, this is a stunt I had done many times, and this one time, it just, something didn't click. And yeah, it's the risk.
That's a tough and dangerous job. And then as well, if you see it, like everyone knows the movies, and we will go a little bit more into a couple of movies where you have been in, is you're nobody knows that it is you, at least for most of the things. So so it's kind of like you hurt yourself. Yeah. So you hurt yourself, and then other people are getting the fame out of this because people think it's the actor doing it.
Exactly. And I've been in positions, we had to do a fight, and it was one of my stuntman friends. We had to do a fight with an actress, and this guy's supposed to be, it's a training session, so these people are morphing out of the wall, and a sci-fi movie. And this girl who's a dancer, she kept insisting she wanted to do this spin kick and this and that. And it's like, it really doesn't work for this. If you want to do it, that's fine. But she kept moving in. I said, you can't be that close. You're going to kick him in the face for real. And so we finally got her to move back, and I would always reposition her at the beginning of the shots. And one take is like she stepped in, she does the kick, and she slipped, and she went to reset and stuff like that. We didn't stop the camera, and she's reset, and she did it anyway. Now she's a step closer, and she kicked him with these military boots right in the head and just split him open. And of course, we had to cut, and it's like, oh God, I got to send him to the hospital for stitches. And it's like, well, we got to do the scene. So it's like, George, get in here, put the ski mask on, you're in now. And he's like, oh, wait, what? She's just sent somebody to the hospital. And so here's this, we're on the second Stuntman. We don't get that recognition and stuff like that. Here's a guy that had to go get stitches, and he wasn't even in the shot now anymore.
Yeah, that's crazy. So tell us a little bit more about the interesting movies you have been in.
I've been in everything from Star Trek, the TV series, Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, and Voyager. I was one of the regulars on that show. I was also Q stunt double on that show. I've been in Hitman's Bodyguard. I've been in Dr. Sleep, Eraser with Arnold Schwarzenegger, The Haunting of Hill House I coordinated, and of course Fast and the Furious. So I've been in a lot of movies that everybody's seen. I'm not like one of the key people, or I'm a bodyguard that gets beat up. I come out and I get shot or something like that. So I'm in it for a whole 5 seconds. And you know, for me, that's fine. I didn't get in the industry to be famous. I like to let the actors do all that stuff. I think I've told you the story about I doubled Val Kilmer for many, many years, and we became friends. And we were in New Mexico on a movie set, and he needed to go into town for something while we're shooting. He's like, and he didn't want to go by himself. And so he saw me, and we're dressed alike. I was doubling him at the time. And he says, hey, Chuck, I got to get something from the store real quick. Could you go with me? I was like, yeah, sure. So I'm walking down the street, and of course, as soon as we get off the set, a bunch of kids mob us, and they want autographs and pictures and stuff like that. And they're going to Val, they're all over him and stuff like that. Now we're dressed exactly alike. We look exactly alike at this point. And Val's laughing, and he tells the kids, like, you got to get a picture with him. He's more famous than I am because he's in a lot more movies than me. And the kids looked at me, they looked at Val, and they just like went right back to him. It's like, yeah, see, this is it. You're famous. I'm not so much. I can go to the store. You can't.
Yeah, it's fascinating. To your point, I was just talking to my wife the other day in the evening, and was talking about you, and I was saying we need to watch all the movies and try to find him. Yeah, because, like you said, I'm pretty sure if I know you are in the movie, I will find you somewhere.
And sometimes it's so quick. My wife doesn't even know sometimes. And sometimes I don't know because we shoot so many different scenes and you don't know what they're going to use and what they're not going to use. So
Yeah.
there's times we were just watching Fast and the Furious 9 on TV, a month ago or something like that. And all of a sudden we get a car chase. I tell my wife, it's like, oh, here's the spot we did in Tbilisi, Georgia. And all of a sudden, as soon as I said that, what we call the armadillo, the big armored truck, and a cop car slides in front of us. It goes sliding in and is chasing him, and there's a guy hanging out the window shooting at him. And it's like, that's me. And it was literally a split second. And by the time we realized it, it's like, where? So we had to rewind it back. And sure enough, you go around and it's a second and a half shot. But from the back of my head, you can see it's me. And it's like, nobody else will know that. I knew it because I was there. Oh my God, I remember this.
So how is it? I mean, I've seen a couple of movie sets, but I've never seen the stunt part of it. How does it work if we talk about this car chasing, especially in Fast and Furious? How do you shoot this sliding in? Like, how does that work? I guess it's still like you're moving, but how does that work for people that have never seen it?
No, it's real. We're really sliding the cars around. If you've ever seen a drift event, drift car racing, where they're sliding the cars, it's controlled sliding. We're doing the same basic thing. And we did this 30, 40 years, maybe more ago, before drifting was popular. And for us, it was just coming around, sliding the corner. You do a little fishtail and you keep going. It's just a trick that you learn because I was racing when I was so young. It was an easy transition for me, because I was used to being behind the wheel and being slightly out of control, what looks like it's out of control, but really I know what's going on. That's just knowing it and practicing it and stuff like that. But it's all planned out. When we do a shot like that and stuff, we'll sit down before we ever start and lay it all out with little matchbox cars. And this is how it goes. And some people have seen behind the scenes, and you'll see us setting it all up. And we'll put cars out. And these are all the cars in the shot. And this one's going to go here. He's going to slide this one. This is going to slide there. He's going to go between them, whatever it might be. So that way everybody's on cue. The stuntmen are usually already on cue because we know each other and we know what to do. And even if something changes, we know how to adjust. Just that's that brotherhood, sisterhood, whatever you want to call it, where we work together and you adjust literally on a split second notice. Sometimes, something goes, they go out, a guy spins out and you got to scramble to go around him. And you got Hitman's bodyguard when we did in Amsterdam. We go around the corner. I'm in the lead car, so I'm easy because I'm setting the pace. But if I was to spin out, I've got 4 or 5 cars behind me that have to avoid me and avoid each other. Yeah. So it's luckily we didn't have to do any of that stuff, but just knowing what to do really is part of the trick, and that's just comes with time and practice.
Yeah, fascinating. And I guess like it even helps in normal traffic. Maybe not in the Netherlands because it's very slow traffic, but compared to Germany at least.
Yeah, true. And America especially. Oh my God, there's some crazy drivers in America.
Yeah. So from stuntman to being a stunt coordinator and producer, how did you do that shift over time?
For me, maybe it goes back to my sports background. I was always kind of a leader in that end of it. When I played baseball and stuff, being the pitcher, I was kind of the boss of the team at the moment, even though there wasn't a boss. But I would say, hey, this is what we're going to do. Or like a quarterback in football and stuff like that. He sets the plays up. That was natural for me. So when I started doing stunts, I really quickly learned, okay, I know how to do the stunts, and I can see how they're doing the stuff, but I think I can do it better. So I started on some smaller shows, and I worked my way up. I built a resume, and before you know it, I'm coordinating, second unit directing some fairly large shows. And the knowledge, and it's paying attention, asking questions. You would do in just about any business, any atmosphere and stuff like that. You got to learn. You got to put your time in, and eventually somebody will give you a chance to move forward. And then once you move forward, you just keep stepping up. And now I've come to the Netherlands and decided, okay, I've been second unit directing. I've got like 20 films I've been second unit director on, and some of them pretty decent. And so it's like, why am I not directing first unit, the actors and stuff like that? I've done that. I've worked with some of them. And I've actually had some of them where I did a scene. We had to do pickups on a fight movie, and I had to do some pickup shots. And I had the 2 actors, and it was a scene, had no stunts at all. It was just, we need a scene of the dialogue around this tree. And like, all right, cool. And so Cynthia Rothrock was one of the stars, and I'd known her for a while. And so we went through and I explained what they were doing, and we did this whole sequence. And at the end of it, she says, "Oh my God, you gave me more information than the regular director did the whole show." And I'm like, "Well, isn't that what I'm supposed to do?" And she's like, "No, thank you. It helped me a lot because I just understood what you guys wanted to see." So that's just, for me, that's just a natural progression. It's like, okay, let's move up to producing. Let's move up to directing. And in my case, I wrote these scripts because I've read so many scripts. This isn't difficult, and I'm creative anyway. So I wrote
Yeah.
scripts, and people read the scripts. Dude, this is good. I'm like, okay, let's make it. So now I'm getting interest on some of my scripts.
So tell us more. That's a bit how we got to know each other as well. So one of the things,
Right.
maybe start with like what was the thing that where you pitched in the US, like in the end of last year.
Yeah, it was November in Las Vegas. One of the there's three big conventions for film markets. The American Film Market, which is the one I went to, and that is usually in Los Angeles and Santa Monica. And last year, it was in Las Vegas for the first time. And I just actually got an email. It's going back to Los Angeles again. But that was the American Film Market. And I was selected. I got involved with a group called Largo AI, and it's a script analysis programming platform. And so I got involved with them and submitted some of my scripts. And the scripts, it analyzes how likable it is. It guesstimates where it analyzes, compares it to other films and how much they project it will make. And they were all really positive. These scripts were really positive. So from that, they selected me to do a pitch on stage in front of 400, 500 investors / producers, distributors. And now this is the first time I've been in front of a group that big, schools and stuff like that, talking about movies or talking about some different things, but never anything official. AFM was the first one I really did, and it was quite exhilarating. It was perfectly comfortable because I've been in front of crowds, and being in front of the camera, it didn't scare me or anything like that. But getting the message across, like, okay, this is something new to me that I've never done. And that's where kind of we came into the thing. It's like, as soon as I did that, like, I can do this. This is kind of cool.
So what happened? Do you have any outcome already from that pitch?
I've got some interest, and the follow-up to that is now there's the European film market, which is next month in February 13th through the 18th or 19th, something like that. And so I got invited back to do another
Nice.
pitch. So I've got another script that I'm pitching there. I've already gotten the first time I went, I didn't know anybody because this is a new realm. I went knocking on doors at AFM for 4 days. I just went and meeting with people and just showing up, and it's like, "Do you have an appointment?" It's like, "No, I was just trying to see if I can maybe set something up or drop a business card off." And before you know it, they just ask me, they look at my business card. Of course, it was really flashy because it's got a burning car in it with a helicopter chasing it, and it's kind of cool. And they like, "Whoa, what is this? Kind of cool." It's like, "Yeah, I'm a professional stuntman." Right away, "You what?" And so it opened that door to dialogues. And out of that, I've gotten probably 6 or 8 contacts that I didn't have. They're now going to the European market, and they've emailed me and it's like, "Hey, can we set up a meeting?" I'm like, "Great." So when I went to America, I had 0 meetings set. And I've got 4 right now, and it's still 3 weeks away. So
Nice.
we'll see.
That's cool. Where is that in Europe?
It's in Berlin. It's in Berlin.
Nice.
And I'm hoping to meet up with Frank while I'm there.
Yeah, I was about to say yes. You mentioned you're going to Berlin. That's cool. Yeah, wishing you definitely huge of luck. So,
No,
what are
thank you.
other projects that you're pursuing right now, which goes more into directing? Do you have like, are you still building more scripts and more potentials to build projects
Correct.
and kind of go directing?
Yeah. I've actually I've got concepts for about 20 different scripts. I've written about 8 of them, I believe. I got 4 of them completed, 100% completed, that are ready to go. That I've put pitch decks together to present them. I've got budgets for 3 of them, and I've got different genres. I'm trying to mix it up because everybody looks at me obviously for the action. It's like, okay, action is going to be my specialty because that's my background and stuff. But I want to show that I can do sci-fi. I want to show that I can do horror stuff. My horror background as a stunt coordinator is deep. I mean, I got so many horror films that I've done, especially lately, between like Haunted at Hill House, Doctor Sleep, Hush, big stuff. Gerald's Game was a Stephen King novel. I've been around that. So I want to be able to show that I have some diversity. I can do different things. It's not just action. Of course, I can take an action film and I can make it spectacular because that's what I know. But I think because I'm creative, that I can do other stuff. And that's what I'm trying to show. I've got some comedy stuff that would be phenomenal. I've got a lot of love for the scripts. Now it's just convincing somebody's like, I'm the guy that can put it together for you. Trust me. Partially, that's where I came to you. And it's like, okay, how do I present this to people? How do I get this message out? This is not normal for me.
Yeah, but I see it happening. It's just a matter of time now. It's
I believe so
definitely
too.
going to happen. Yeah. Because that's what I admire about you since we met first time last year. Like, even with all the huge things and the credibility you have built, you're still a workhorse in a positive way.
Yeah.
Like someone who really gets things moving very, very quickly, and that's not normal in a lot of industries.
No,
And in the
no,
end,
thank you.
that's what I have seen. Yeah, sorry.
No, it's good. I was just saying thank you. That's a compliment coming from you because you've seen a lot of people and you've seen a lot of things. So, I'm glad that comes across that way.
No, 100%. Because you directly put things into action. Like even just the small things. Like we have started this 30-day challenge and the 30 days video challenge in the community, and you were one of the first ones. Like, of course I'm in. Let's do it. And now
Yeah.
you do. Tell us about the other challenge you do on Instagram. It's maybe a fun one as well for people.
Before we started the 30-day challenge, I made, and this came from you. This came from some different concepts that you had. Is I decided it's like, all right, I'm going to do a post. I wanted to get 1 million views on Instagram in a year, and I'm probably not going to get that, but I'm actually doing better than I thought I would. And so I decided I'm going to do a post every single day of something, and just put it out there to follow my career, to follow my crazy world, whatever it might be. And so somewhere in, I think I'm 65 days into that now. And then you came up with a 30-day challenge. I'm like, this is right up my alley. Let's go.
The 1 million you will crack 100%. I
I hope so. I
hugely
hope so.
believe.
I haven't looked.
Yeah.
I haven't looked lately, but I think the first video that I did had like 200 views or something like that. And then at 30 days was the last time I checked it. And at 30 days, I was getting 500-600 views. This is only 30 days. I tripled what I was doing. So I was like, this is good.
Exactly. And it's in the end, it's compounding, and then it's accelerating with all of these things. I mean, imagine you would
Yep.
do these videos on a movie set, like while you're coordinating a stunt, and you just talk about, hey, I'm just at this movie set and we're coordinating the next fight scene. This directly has like 200 people more viewing
Yep.
it. I mean,
Yep. And I did
I
that when I was
really,
at AFM. I was in Las Vegas doing exactly that.
yeah, nice. That's awesome. Yeah, it's huge for everyone who is interested in Chuck. Check out obviously all his movies, and as well like his Instagram channel. But for everyone business wise, and let's talk a little bit about keynote speaking, because like I see you on huge
Yes.
stages talking about like how business can benefit from what you have learned being in the movie world, and specifically going through, let's say, the hardship and understanding of stunts and action scenes.
Right. Right. I can see myself doing this, and it's something that I've always thought about, never knew how to pursue it. But because the movie industry has such a huge following, it's so prestigious, and everybody especially loves to hear the stories behind the scenes. This stuff can relate to anything in life. I can take a sequence and turn it into pretty much any business, any factor, and show the similarities on a scale that is exciting for people. And I think that could be my ace in the hole, is using the background and using the credentials that I have over the past 37 years, show people, what can be done. And in my case, I've already started playing a little bit because I didn't come from anything special. I didn't start in the movie business. Nobody in my family is part of this world. I'm the only one still to date that is in this business. And I did it 100% on my own. I had help from people that I met along the way, but no family or no intimate friends. It just happened. And because of that, I can show it's like, listen, I'm a normal guy. I'm not a poor guy. I'm not a rich guy. I was middle class. I was straight across the line. I was just an athlete, just getting by, middle of the road grades. I was smart, but not the smartest guy in the thing. I wasn't the charismatic. I wasn't the most popular guy in high school. I'm just a normal Joe, and I made it. And I've been successful. I've got 400 film and television credits in 37 years. Few people can say that they've done that. So if I can do it, anybody can do it. I don't think I'm anything special. I've learned to master my craft, and I think I can show people how to master their craft the same exact way. It's like, just believe in yourself and do this, do that, and you can do it. It doesn't matter if you're an accountant or you're a skydiver. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. One of the stories that inspired me when I think it was one of the events where we've had this 5-minute keynote thing was where you explained that you just don't give up. Like, you're keeping on knocking at doors, or like early in your career, you was like, hey, I'm just showing up. And while you do this, and that's I think you still have that. And that's for me the thing, if we translate that to keynote speaking and business, that's what of missing in business, where, let's say, people in large corporate, like I come from that world, so I can say it, they're not hungry. Like, you're still having this fire today. You're hungry, and not hungry for the money, but hungry for success, hungry for showing that you can do and level up still. And that's fascinating to see.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I use that as like, people think of this as like, okay, imagine you're going to find a job, say in the corporate world, and you finally get a job. You're going to be at the job for 5 years, maybe longer, 10 years, whatever. Every movie I do, it could be 1 day, it could be 1 week, it could be 10 weeks. As soon as it's done, I got to go look for another job. So there's times when every week I'm looking for a new job. I'll do something, I'll do 2 days, and now I'm unemployed again. And you got to be hungry. You got to go out there. You got to be aggressive. You got to get your face out there. We have a saying that we talk about, is like, out of sight, out of mind. As soon as people don't see you, they forget about you, and you don't get called for stuff. So you got to be hungry. You got to get out there and promote yourself. I've been doing it long enough. I've done an okay job. And today I sent out 12 resumes to production companies I've never worked for, just to introduce myself. This is what I got to offer, and see if it's a good fit. I've already gotten one reply back. So yeah, you got to. And in my industry, it's more so than normal. And maybe that's what that shines out. But I think if everybody had that same feeling, that same hunger, man, sky's the limit.
Agree, 100%. That's maybe getting us to the end. I think that's something missing right now in society, where everyone is kind of not saying lazy, but it's kind of not, the hardship is not the normal anymore. It's like, I just see it with the kids on the street, or the youngsters right now, where not everyone is hungry and willing to put the work in. Some people are already, after 5 days of working, they're already, no, I need 2 weeks of holiday. And I think that's something we need to bring back. At least my personal opinion is like, hey, it requires work. Like, I have been working the last couple of years ridiculously different and way more than in big corporate, because I know what it takes to get to a level. And now doing this for myself is as well. It takes time to get to a certain level, but if you don't work on it, if you don't push through, it's not going to happen.
No, that's absolutely true. And I see it, that I see it more in America than I do here, but I see it here now as well. I'll go to the grocery store, and there's kids that are still in school, they're working, and they'll be there a week and they just disappear. And there's a new set of kids. And I feel the just generation feels that it's owed to them, that they're owed a job, they're owed a living. It's like, when I grew up, you weren't owed anything. I had to go to work at 15 years old because my father moved out and left the family, and it was all on my mom's shoulder. And she couldn't do it. She was working 2 jobs. She was working at the bank during the day and then tending bar at night. And so at 15 years old, I went and worked at a bakery, cleaning up after the baker, cleaning all the stuff up. And I don't mind hard work. It's never bothered me. But man, I would come home at the end of the week and make maybe $100, $200. And I'd give my check to my mom, and she would like, how much do you need? I'm like, I don't know, give me $20. I'm going to school. I don't need anything. And so the rest of it would go to helping the family. That was just the way I grew up. I think that's missing. People don't, they just expect stuff. They don't want to work for it. They just expect it. And that's sad.
Yeah. That's one of the challenges I try to teach my daughter, though that's very hard, I have to say.
Yeah. No, I had the same thing. I got twin girls. They're now 19, and they're
Oh
smart,
yeah.
as smart as a whip. And thankfully, they're not following my lead and stuff like that. And one of them is Groningen learning law, which I don't know where she got those smarts. It wasn't from me. It's got to be from my wife. And the other one's going to do management and tourism. So I got two smart kids, but that I don't see the drive that I had when I was that age. When I was that age,
Yeah.
it was a different drive. And even though they're eager and they move forward and they do the best they can, they'll do what they need to do. And then it's like, okay, I did that. And it was, well, for me, it was always, I got to do that extra. I got to go that extra mile. I don't see that anymore. Not just in my kids. I mean, I pick on them because they're my kids and I can, but I see that overall. All the kids
Yeah.
nowadays, I go in and they just no drive. There's no passion anymore.
Agree. So getting to the end, how can people reach out to you? Where can people find you?
I'm on Instagram. I'm on LinkedIn under my name, Chuck Borden. I also am the founder of Faceplant Films, which is faceplantfilms.com. And I also have my own one that I'm working on now. It's chuckborden.com. If you go into Faceplant Films, my link is in there. It's still there. If you go to Faceplant Films and there's a link for Chuck Borden and it gives you a little brief thing. If you want just to see what my credits are, there's a thing called IMDb, International Movie Database, that you can look up and again, put my name in it. And it's going to show you everything I've done. Pretty much, not everything, but most stuff. They don't list commercials. They don't list music videos for the most part, things like that. But any film, anybody in the movie industry, you can look up what they've done.
Yeah, the helicopter scene and so on is definitely there. I've seen it.
Yeah, that's a stunt reel from a handful of years ago, but it's pretty current. It's up to date. It's got all the fun stuff in it.
Exactly. Yeah. So Chuck, we're in early 2025. Where is
Correct.
your journey going if we look like 1 or 2 years ahead?
Well, this year, my goal this year is to get one of my scripts made, not just financed, but made. So I'm getting close to that. I've got interest, but I mean, some of these films are going to be, $3 to $5 million and stuff like that. It's hard to raise that kind of money when I don't have a track record as a producer, as a director. I have that. I mean, I worked in Fast and Furious, $350 million, but I wasn't in charge of $350 million. I was in charge of driving a car and crashing into stuff. So it's a different world, but I'm getting close. And people are seeing that it's like, I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm doing. So it's just find that right person to step up and say, I believe in you. Let's do this. That's my immediate goal, is to do that. And then when I got in touch with you and the Rising Stars program, I have a talent that I can share my story that maybe motivates other people. And that's what I want to do. I love being a mentor. I love being a good role model, because I think we're really lacking role models this day and age, especially for younger people that need a drive. I think I can bring that to somebody and hopefully turn somebody's life around or get them on the right direction, whatever it might be. And that's why we got together is like, I think as a speaker, I can go out there and share my message and maybe inspire somebody to do something on a positive level.
Chuck, thank you very much for joining me live here today. And I'm really looking forward to being part of the journey and supporting you going forward. I think you definitely going to make it, and it's going to be huge. And I'm looking forward to see you succeeding. Thank you very much for joining.
Oh, thank you for having me. And I think we're going to do some big things together. I mean, we're going to meet here in another week or so, in a couple of weeks, and we'll see. I look forward to being a part of this community as far as it'll take me.